Hello everybody, it's Diane and I have a fairy journal ready to show you. This one is already spoken for, but I wanted to let you see it. It measures 7 1/8 wide by 9 1/2, so it's a good size journal. The spine is 2 inches. I didn't do anything to the front because it has this pretty watercolor looking picture on it, and I put some fabric on the spine and this glittery mesh looking trim, and then I covered the back of it because the paper was torn off it here, and I thought this would look nice on the back, so I covered the back and I just tied pale lavender and pale green ribbons around it, satin ribbons. There are 3 signatures. This is one of the book plates from Mrs. Coggs. It says "From the Magical Desk of," and the first signature has a fairy on a pocket, a bunch of fairies on a pocket, little embellishment up there with lace, and an index card that I colored with Distress inks. Did I use Distress inks? And Stampin' Up! Ink too. And then I colored this. I have a video of how I colored him, painted him with my Stampin' Up! Inks ink pad. I'm just going to trim this off. And I used a couple pieces of fabric here to make the tab, and I colored on the back of it also. And I tucked that right in there. There's some lace on the edge. It's got little yellow dots on it. Thought that was cute and whimsical. I used large paper doilies. Here's one of them, the one that did this, and used spray inks through the doilies to color the pages. And because the book is so wide, I took the cutoffs that I cut off the height of the paper and added it to the width so that the pages would be big enough. So that gives a patchwork look to some of the pages. And I used Elsie Bell's, what's the name of her shop? Elsie Bell's Studio? It doesn't sound quite right. Elsie Bell's Bookshelf, that's what it is. And her fairy kit, and I always forget the name of it, but I'll link it below. And look at that cute little bug. There's a fairy on the other side of the page, but I just love her really vibrant colors of her kit. And then she has some line papers available in the kit also, so I printed that on the back. This is from a book of a Regency ladies fairy book, where a lady from that time period, a young woman, painted these paintings of fairies. She does have wings. You can't see them very well, but and then whoever put this book together, I guess, added the frames. I don't know. But this Annabelle, I think her name is, painted the pictures. This is from Elsie Bell's kit, Ella's kit. This is green vellum, and I just sewed an image on and one of Mrs. Coggs' fairy words on it and some lace. Made a pocket and then put this bookmark in it. You can write on the back. And this image. This is vintage wrapping paper with flowers and butterflies. And here's another of Ella's fairy kit. There's a fairy and a bunny, mushrooms. There's a little insect up there. It's just full of detail and lots of color. I did some stenciling there. This is from a calendar, and the calendar was all marked up, so I glued this book page, children's book page, with Fairy Song by John Keats on it. A piece of vintage stationery here, and here's one of the doilies that I used as a stencil, and I glued on this quote. It's a Mrs. Coggs fairy quotes. "Fairy tales are more than true, G. Chesterton." And on this page I added a fabric cluster. It's got vintage fabric here from a really old apron, and then this piece of linen that I stamped the word fairies on, and some filet crochet and part of a crochet doily in green, this vintage applique, and a little bit up there. So there's quite a hodgepodge of materials there. The envelope on the inside has a little stamp, a pretend stamp from Graphic 45 with a fairy on it. When you open it up, you get roses. And inside it is this illustration from a children's book. And I put lined paper on the back. There's some lavender lace on the edge here, and here's where I added the other piece of paper on. This pocket is made out of vintage linen and some more of that green crochet doily, and then there's a flower fairy postcard. These postcards are very big. It measures just over 5 by just over 6.5. So that's a big postcard. There's another doily, or the other side of that doily. Here's the other side of the calendar, and on this side I collaged different lined papers so you can write on it. You can still see the X's where the calendar was marked up in black marker, but when you write on it, it'll help disguise it some more. And this is one of the embellishments from the kit. Here I sewed on a little pocket of acetate and then poured in some sequins and glued, stitched it closed with this fringed lace. And here's the other side of the kit paper, and it has this beautiful fox. There's a bird and a dragonfly. Beautiful colors. This is one of the embellishments. I just glued it up there so you can write a title or a date or something on there. There's a fabric flip with this beautiful fabric that Pierrette gave me. It's got some silver sparkles on it. And you could glue a picture, or you could glue a paper that you can write on here. Look at that beautiful fairy. And on the back page of the signature, I just put on a guest check so you can journal, a glassine bag, and this is a German scrap, piece of German scrap with a fairy on it, and then I put this bookmark in there. You can write on the back. So the rest of the signatures continue in the same flow. So here's a printable that I made into a pocket, and I just sewed some lace on the end side of that. There's a pretty whimsical flowered lace going down the side there. These are 2 elements from the kit, a little file folder that I glued on. Guess I better glue that on again. Let's do it right now before I forget. And I love this little card. It's like a ledger paper, but that deer is so precious. And there's clover and these beautiful flowers. Just beautiful. These are elements from the kit I glued on there. Another vellum pocket. This is an illustration from a vintage children's book. There's a journaling card and a bookmark. More vintage wrapping paper with flowers on it. And I stenciled on that. Another calendar page and another page from a children's book, The Assembling of the Fays. Really pretty picture. Stationery. You see, when a baby laughs for the first time, a fairy is born. James Barrie. That's the author of Peter Pan. This is a piece of clear vellum with lace on it as a pocket, and then I cut this out of the fairy fabric and glued it on. There's a postcard inside and one of the pages of lined paper from the kit that I just folded and tucked in there. So you can write. This is an envelope from the kit, and inside is a postcard from the kit. There's some blue lace sewn on the edge there. This is one of the fabric clusters that we made in a video with the buttons, paper circles and buttons. Oh, fabric circles, not paper. There's a little bit of embroidery that came off of a piece of old linen. Look at that cute little bug. I don't normally like bugs, but that one's cute. Another sequin pocket. This is from the kit. You can write on that. It's a journaling space. There's some embroidery. And the pretty flowers, sorry. And then the last signature, we have another pocket. This one has a vintage butterfly applique. It's a sheer fabric with embroidery on it. This banner is from the kit. This is from the kit. And this page is another one of the lined pages. And somebody must have sent this to me in a Happy Mail. It's cute. This is vintage wrapping paper. The calendar page with a children's book page on it. And another fabric cluster. It's vintage embroidery. Then I stamped this on, and then I did a running stitch to sew on there and added that piece of lace. Oops, got glued in there. It's really glued in there. There. It's a little bit torn there. Pretty flowers on the back of that envelope. It's vintage stationery. This one is a fabric pocket with this vintage doily sewn on it. Another postcard and a card from the kit. And some more lined paper collage with some elements from the kit. Love that deer. This one has a sequin pocket with the leaf vine sewn across the top, just kind of meandering across the page. This fairy is riding a bat. That's unusual. And there's another ephemera piece from the kit that I fussy cut. And these butterflies and actually these are all German scrap. The mushrooms and the butterflies. And there's a Jack in the Pulpit fairy tucked in there. And then I don't know where I got this. It's a printable, but I don't know where it came from. I had it in my drawer of envelopes, so I thought it worked well in this journal, so I put it together and stuck it in there. And then we have this fairy image tucked in there. I'm going to sew that to some coffee dyed paper. But other than that, this journal is complete. So I hope that my customer likes it. I hope this is what she was hoping for when she requested it be reserved for her. As I said, just so you know, I did reserve this one, and I reserved one of the little fabric ones, but I'm not going to reserve any more. I'm going to use one for a giveaway, sorry, and put two in the shop. So there will be a pink one and a purple one in the shop when I'm done with them. But tell me what you think of this journal, and I hope you like it, and I hope you'll come back to see the fabric ones when they're done. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.